Hey everyone, welcome back to Stage Midlife. I'm Amy, and this is the space where we talk honestly about everything that comes with being in this season of life, the good, the messy, and everything in between. So, if you've been following along, in episode 1, I talked about why I even started this channel at 40, and in episode 2, I got really honest about burnout. So today, I want to share what I've actually been doing about it. And I want to be clear, I'm not here telling you I figured it all out. I'm very much still in it, still working through it. But I've been making some small intentional changes, and they've been making a difference. So I thought, let's talk about it. I will share 10 things I'm doing right now, how I've restructured my time, how I'm taking care of my body, and how I'm reconnecting with myself again. But honestly, they all kind of blend into each other. I'd love to know in the comments which ones resonate with you, or what you're doing in your own life right now. Because honestly, this is a two-way conversation, and I want to hear from you. Let's get into it. You know that feeling when your whole life just feels like it's running you instead of the other way around? That was me. So the first few changes I made were really just about getting some of my time back. The first thing I did was switch to morning shifts only. And look, I know not everyone has this option. But if you do, or if you're in a position where you can choose your hours in any way, this was a bit a game changer for me. I've always been an early morning person. I actually love that quiet time before the world fully wakes up. It feels like it belongs to me. So instead of fighting my natural rhythm, I just leaned into it. The second thing, and this one I know is going to land differently for different people, is that I cut down my hours at work. I just want to say up front, I completely understand this isn't available to everyone right now. With everything going on with the cost of living, and especially if you're still in the thick of building your finances, this is a real conversation. I'm not here to be tone deaf about that at all. But what I will say is, if there's a new version of this available to you, even one less shift, even one fewer commitment, it's worth exploring. Because I started asking myself, what is it actually costing me to keep going at this pace? And the answer was my health, my presence, my joy. So even if a full reduction isn't possible right now, is there one small thing you could pull back on? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. And then, no more weekend work. This was a line I had to draw quite firmly. The weekends are now protected. That's my time for routine, for rest, for just being a human being rather than a productive machine. And one of the things I've really valued getting back is being able to go to church on weekends. That was something I kept missing when work just kept taking over. And having that back has been really grounding for me. And what I've noticed is that by the time Monday comes around, I actually have something left in me, which, if you've been running on empty for a while, you'll know that feeling is everything. Now, I intentionally go to sleep by 9 p.m. This one actually ties straight back to the morning shifts thing. When I was still doing rotating shifts, I'd finish a late shift and then have to turn around and be back for an early the next morning. And that was absolutely wrecking my sleep. There's just no recovering from that. So switching to mornings only meant I could finally have a consistent wind down time, and 9 p.m. just became what felt right for me. Obviously, this is going to look different depending on your life, kids, partners, your own shift patterns, all of that. But the real question underneath this one is, are you actually protecting your sleep? Because nothing else I'm about to talk about works nearly as well if the sleep isn't there. So once I had a bit more space in my schedule, I started actually paying attention to my body again. Because burnout has a way of making you completely disconnect from it. Nature walks have become non negotiable for me. This one is free, it's accessible, and it works every single time. There's actual research that shows spending time outdoors lowers your cortisol, your stress hormone. But honestly, you don't need the science. You just feel it. Even 15 to 20 minutes, even your local park, the combination of movement, fresh air, and not looking at a screen does something that nothing else quite replicates for me. And speaking of movement, I also came back to moving my body at home. And I want to put a gentle emphasis on the word home here because for a long time I thought exercise had to look a certain way to count. No gym subscriptions, no fancy equipment, just consistent movement that feels sustainable for where I'm actually at right now. In this season of life, I'm not training for anything. I'm just trying to feel good in my body and give myself some energy back. And then eating home cooked meals. When I was working in the rural and remote, food was really an afterthought. I was grabbing whatever was easiest, and my body was running on poor fuel. And I found there's something grounding about the actual act of cooking too. It's present, it's sensory, it kind of pulls you out of your head. I'm not talking about being perfect here. I'm talking about choosing, more often than not, to eat in a way that actually supports you. Okay, so this last group of things, these are probably the ones that have felt the most quietly healing, if I'm honest. I came back to reading, not necessarily self help, though there's absolutely a time and place for that. Just reading, fiction, nonfiction, whatever pulls you in. There's something really restorative about giving your brain a proper rest from screens and replacing it with something that nourishes your imagination instead. And I've also noticed that reading helps me wind down at night. Journaling came back into my life as well. And I want to talk about this one a bit because I think people sometimes dismiss it as too simple or too woo. The thoughts that spin around in your head, making you anxious and overwhelmed, getting them out onto paper changes their power over you. It's like decluttering your mind. I don't have a fancy system. I don't write pages every day. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. Sometimes it's just a brain dump. But creating even a little space between me and my thoughts has been really helpful. And lastly, giving yourself something creative to pour into. For me, this has been two things, this channel and gardening. These are the things that are purely for me. No deadline, no deliverable, no one to answer to, just mine. And I think in midlife, especially when you've spent years being productive for everyone else, there's something really important about creating something just because it fills you up. What's yours? Is there something you've been quietly putting off because life got in the way? Maybe now it's the time. Now, something a little different before I wrap up. A lot of what I have shared today came from a process of getting clearer on what I actually need right now. Not what I should need, not what worked 5 years ago, just what's true for me in this season. And I've put together something called the Clarity Kit. It's a simple little tool designed to help you do the same thing. Cut through the noise, get honest with yourself where you're at, what's draining you, and what might actually help you. It's not a course, it's not overwhelming, it's just a gentle starting point. I leave the link in the description below if you want to check it out. It's absolutely free. If you're in that place where you know something needs to shift and you don't know where to start, it might be a useful thing to have. In the next episode, we're going somewhere that I think a lot of us in this season of life need to talk about, and that's energy and people. Specifically, the relationships and dynamics in our lives that are either fueling us or quietly draining us. How do we start setting limits when we've spent years being the person who just handles everything? It's going to be a real one. Make sure you don't miss it. So that's my 10: structure and rest, body and nature, mind and soul. None of these are revolutionary. None of them cost a lot of money. But together, they've been quietly building something that feels a lot more like me again. I genuinely love to know which one of these resonated with you, or what you're doing in your own life right now to cope with this stage. Drop it in the comments. Let's actually talk. That's kind of the whole point of this space. If you're new here, and this felt like something you needed to hear today, it would mean a lot if you subscribed. We're building something real here, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one.